Hello, welcome to Renee Makes a Life. I have been gone a while. I've had a series of events that has kept me from working and has kept me from filming. So I got sick. I was sick for about 2 months with pneumonia. Not quite 2 months, but close. And I got healed up from that. And then I had to attend to my car. I'm going to be talking about that in another episode. But long story short, I had to replace the water pump in my car, and I decided, with like zero experience of working on cars, I decided to change the water pump myself. And I used YouTube videos. I got some tools. I had occasional assistance for loosening a couple of things, but for the most part, I did it myself. The gentleman in the wonderful gentleman in the video I used, and I will talk about that in the episode. He said it should take about 3 hours. It was not a beginner's job, and I was a beginner. And yeah, but of course he was working in a shop. I was working in the wild, and I ended up taking a week. And I finished it just in time to go visit family. And then, of course, once I got back, I was so far behind in the garden. The herb garden still looks like a jungle. And here I am. So I thought this episode I would jump back in by starting to talk about skills. So that's why I entitled this episode, Got Skills? Yeah. I think, without getting political about it, we are moving into some very challenging times. I think that one of the things that we should concentrate on is building skills. There's been a lot of talk about bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Even if that is possible, it will take a very long time to do that. I actually think it's highly unlikely. Economically, that doesn't work for the companies. And there's a lot of other reasons that we could talk about, but I'm not going to go there. But I'm not going to talk about that today. So one of the things we can do as the average person is build our own skills. I think, although I know there is a large do-it-yourself community in this country, I think we've lost a lot of skills. The everyday person has lost a lot of skills. Quite honestly, I can get lost on the internet myself. I think that takes up a lot of time. Yeah, I think about my great-grandparents. My grandparents and my great-grandparents. So I had grandfathers who could build anything they put their mind to, whether it be in wood or metal or electronics. What was electronics at that time? There was no computers and laptops and cell phones, but they could fix just about anything. My one grandfather had a lawnmower shop, and I loved that lawnmower shop. He had everything he needed to fix any kind of engine, small engine, large engine. He had, I used to enjoy going into his shop. It had a certain smell. A machine shop had a certain smell. I know he welded and probably did a lot of other things that I didn't know because I was young at that time. But you'd walk in and there would be this beautiful clean gray floor, and he had aisles where all the parts were. My grandmother had her desk where she would work on her calculating machine, the one that you would pull the lever back. And they had a spindle for all the orders. It was a really wonderful place. I actually really enjoyed looking around in my grandfather's lawnmower shop. My other grandfather according to what I was told, could fix just about anything as well. My grandmothers could garden, and my great-grandmothers could garden, sew, cook incredible meals from scratch, quilt, all the needleworks. I had one grandmother who made these beautiful tatted doilies, crochet. I had another grandmother who actually did work in a garment factory. She was the supervisor, one of the supervisors, I believe, in a garment factory. And she could sew anything, according to my mother. She could look at something and she could sew it. All those skills are wonderful skills to have. So I decided it'd be a really interesting project to put together a list of all the skills that I have. Now, I am fairly mechanically inclined. I enjoy making things, so I've learned a lot of things over the years. So I thought I would show my list of skills that I have, which is right here, and skills that I want to have, which is almost as long as the skills that I have. So I have mentioned in the past that I have been a weaver and a spinner and a dyer of yarn and cloth. I actually have a degree in apparel design, so I sew and can design and make clothing from scratch without patterns, just by draping. I can make my own patterns. I garden, grow my own food. I'm an artist. I save seeds. I know how to rescue seeds. I can do light construction, basic plumbing, basic electrical. I have done all of these things. I have dabbled in jewelry making, basic soldering, repair. I like to repair and restore things. I'm still in the middle of restoring that tool, which I got derailed by a lot of things, but I will get back to it. I'm a musician. I enjoy archery, and that's an ongoing process. I'm an avid reader and researcher. It is really important to know how to research, particularly when you are investigating things that impact your life, whether it be eating well, gardening, researching some of the medical issues that are hitting our society, researching your own personal medical issues, researching medications that you're being asked to take, researching science behind whatever you need to know. Anyway, that's an important skill as well. I'm an avid reader and researcher. I think I just mentioned that. I can propagate a lot of different kinds of plants, and I'm still working on that skill. I know how to cook from raw materials. I'm a plant-based cook. I know how to do that to fit my particular body needs. And I am studying herbal medicine, so I would say I'm getting a basic grounding in herbal medicine. However, there's still a lot of skills that I need, that I would really like to learn. I have long wanted to learn how to weld. I like to learn how to fix and maintain and fix my car. I would like to know how to build a small building, like a workshop, which is what's coming up soon. I got it delayed from that project as too. I would like to learn how to build out a solar power system on my own. I have a little basic solar kit, but I'd like to know how to do that from scratch. I want to learn how to graft trees. In fact, I have a tree grafting project in mind. There is a wild tree called a cherry plum on the property that I am staying, and I would like to propagate that tree because there's only one, and in order to make it true to the fruit that it bears, I need to graft it. So I've long wanted to learn how to graft fruit trees, and I'm looking over past the camera because I have some rootstock to graft it to. I would like to learn metalworking. I would like to learn woodworking, blacksmithing, boat building. I like to learn how to make my own bow and arrow for archery. I'd like to learn advanced plant propagation, tissue culture, which would be really hard with the setup that I have now, but I would like to learn how to do tissue culture and, of course, grafting and a few other things, plant propagation, particularly food plants. I'd like to learn how, wood carving and, of course, advanced herbal medicine. All that takes time, but it's all so interesting. I really enjoy studying. It is hard not to get distracted by what's online and what's going on in the world these days. We are living in some very interesting times. I really think that it is good to sit down and list out the skills you have. And it could be anything that's important to you, that's important to your life, that you think will help you in your life. List out the skills. Maybe you have a skill in interviewing people. That's not something I have on my list, but maybe it's on yours. Maybe you have a skill in pottery. Actually, that's one I'd like to add to my list, is pottery. Maybe you have a really wonderful skill in teaching people anything that you are interested in. I think that's a wonderful skill. In fact, I think that's a very important skill to have. And then, so it's really a good thing to sit down and list out the skills you have. And I'm sure I've left off a few. I'm very good at composting. Garden composting, by the way, I mean. At least I used to be. I'm a little out of practice. And then, so list out the skills you have. You might surprise yourself. Take your time with it. Think about it. And then list the skills you want to have. You'll notice that I have the skills that I have on the have list are, some of them are traditional skills that women often have. Sewing, spinning, weaving, cooking, gardening, although that's not limited to just women. I know plenty of men who are excellent in all those skills as well. Well, not plenty. I know a few men who are excellent in those skills as well. What the skills I want tend to be ones that are traditionally, at least in my time, traditionally had been, for boys and men. I don't think I never was advised to go into wood shop or anything in high school. I had other classes. I probably didn't have time for wood shop, but So a lot of these things that I have on my want list, like welding and auto repair and construction, metalworking, woodworking, blacksmithing, boat building, are traditionally mainly male-dominated fields. I'm hoping saying that right. I'm just going to blurt it out. I do know women in all of these fields. I know women welders. and auto repair women and construction women in construction. I know women who do metalworking and woodworking and blacksmithing. I don't know if I ever met a female boat builder, but I'm sure she exists. I know women who make their own bows and arrows. Yeah, carving, and of course herbal medicine and all of that. Yeah. Yeah. So think about what skills you have and what skills you want that will serve you well in the times that we are at and in the possible times that we are going into. I mean, what happens if there is no power? I'm not saying there's going to be no power, but what happens if there's no power? What happens if you can't get some of the supplies? That's becoming an issue these days that you need. Do you know how to find materials to make clothing? If you already sew, you probably do know how to find materials to make clothing. Yeah, what happens when you can't get the materials you need? Do you know how to improvise? Do you know how to manufacture the materials you need? Can you manufacture the materials you need? Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things to think about. The question I'd like to leave you with is, what skills do you have? What skills do you want? And if you are so inclined, put a couple of them in the comments section. What skills do you have? I have this. I can do this. You don't have to be a master craftsman at this. You just need to get started. What skills do you want to have? There might be something in there that I didn't even think of that I would probably be interested in. I could add to my list. So let me know in the comments what skills you would like to have that you don't yet. I'd be really interested to see. Really interested to see. All right, I'm back, and I will be coming, let's see, what am I going to start in on? I've been doing cleanup, reclaiming my garden from the blackberries. I'm going to leave some because blackberries are delicious. My herb garden here has been overgrown. I am going to start on building my workshop finally. I have all the materials, I just need to start. And that's going to be a learning journey for me. Anyway, I've talked on enough. Please leave a comment in the section about what skills you have or what skills you'd like to have. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.